welcome to the review of the Roland Microcube. In this video, I will give you an in-depth look at this brilliant home amp. You will hear all the 6 different effects and amp simulations. For this demo, I will be using a Chapman ML3 Mon. Without further ado, let's start this demo off using the acoustic setting with a little reverb. The acoustic setting does a good job at changing dynamics, as there is a difference between using your fingers to playing with a pick. Now, moving on to the JC Clean, I will be using the neck pickup for the lead and bridge for the rhythm. Let's find out if the Microcube can do a clean tone. The JC Clean is great, as this channel allows the amp to have a crystal clean tone, which is perfect for many genres of music. Next up is another clean setting, named the Black Panel. This setting sounds very much like a Fender amp, in my opinion, so I've turned up the tone on the amp a small amount, as this channel is a little dark sounding. The Black Panel setting is the ideal blues tone, as it cleans up very well, allowing for every note you play to be heard in great detail. The setting is also excellent for lead, as the clarity of this channel gives your playing that extra sustain needed for when playing blues and for bending. Now it's time for the Brit combo, and as you might have guessed from the name, this setting sounds very much like a Vox amplifier, which means that this channel should be great at clean and crunch. A terrific sounding crunch, absolutely huge and thick. This setting is perfect, turned up loud, lots of gain on the bridge pickup when you're just giving it some riffs. Although, the downside of an amp this size is the speaker. As you can hear, it's starting to struggle a bit keeping up with my playing, and that when I do hit hard, you can hear the notes aren't as clear as what they used to be on the lower gain setting. So we've just heard the British sounding setting, which was modelled off a Vox. Next up is the classic stack, which is very similar to a Marshall amplifier, which can only mean one thing: rock. For a simulation of a Marshall amplifier, the classic stack performs well, perfect for rocking out with power chords, although is equally at home with a blues tone. Roll back the gain, dialing up, the tone and the volume to suit your guitar, and you'll be in a blues, crunchy sort of atmosphere in no time. Overall, the setting is great for a rock tone, even though the speaker does struggle when at higher volumes. You'll notice at points there'll be a booming sound of where the speaker is like wobbling because of the volume, and that's simply because it's such a small speaker cabinet. The only downfall of the amplifier is the size of the speaker, not the tone. The tone's perfect, it sounds great, just you got to be careful with the volume. Moving on to the final simulation, which just so happens to be the highest gain setting. The R-Fire is modelled after a Mesa Boogie rectifier, which is a metal amplifier. I will find out how the speaker manages when playing at high volume. I have now turned the amplifier's gain up to see how this simulation performs at a higher gain level. So now we should get an understanding of what metal tones this amp has. At lower gain, the amplifier can be used as a light drive tone. This allows for the simulation to be used for more than simply high gain palm muting. Saying that, the amplifier does well at producing a metal tone given the lack of bass end which it desperately is missing. Now that I have demoed the 5 different amp models, I will now use the built-in effects. There are 4 effects in total, as well as a separate reverb and delay. First, I will demo the built-in delay. I have set the delay to its max amount so that you can really hear the effect and get an understanding of the amount that there is on offer. I will start the demo on the neck pickup. The built-in digital delay can be very musical, as in when you are playing, the delay benefits your playing, as it can be used to give your lead an added thickness. Next up, it's the reverb, and again for this demo, the effect is set to its fullest amount, and I will begin the demo on the neck pickup. The digital reverb is very atmospheric, giving your playing room to exist in, meaning reverb can be used to add a sense of space and depth even to the simplest guitar riffs. Moving on to the first of the 4 effects, chorus. This effect is set to a playable amount, as the effect can be used to add definition to your playing. I will start the demo off playing some chords. This chorus effect sounds great. It can be used on both a clean tone and a crunch tone. Overall, the chorus adds a spacey texture to your tone. Another effect this amp has is flanger. For this demo, I will start on the bridge pickup, as I personally prefer the effect on a driven tone. flanger adds a sweeping sound to your playing. You will have to find the right amount of this effect for your playing style, as too much of the effect can be unpleasant. The penultimate effect is the phaser, which sounds very similar to flanger, as the flanger sounds more like a jet plane with its swoosh, compared to the phaser, which tends to sound more subtle and otherworldly. The phaser does an excellent job at transforming your amp's tone to that of an otherworldly sound. By adding a unique swirl to your tone, the effect can create some unusual sounds. It's now time for the last effect, which is tremolo. The effect alters the volume of the guitar. I have turned the effect all the way up so that you can hear the change in depth. The tremolo gives an underwater effect to the amp, which is actually very usable, as you can use the effect for both lead and rhythm, as the effect is very diverse. Hopefully, this review of the Roland Microcube has been informative. The Microcube is the perfect amp for a beginner, as the Microcube has many amp models built in, as well as effects. Although its size does make the amp discreet and portable, it's that size of the speaker that lets the amp down, as there is no bass end when playing. However, for a beginner in their bedroom, that's no concern given the price of the amp. Overall, the Roland Microcube is the perfect first amp for a beginner.